Trae Young. He is so good. And you think there'd be some rust? There's no rust. Oh, LaMarcus Aldridge, where are you going? Where are you going, LaMarcus? Where are you going, LaMarcus? It's that. It's the playmaking. He not just had 13 assists. He had 29 points coming back from an injury. Jalen, they don't have John Collins, but Jabari Parker looked pretty good. Do you think even without Collins, they could vie for a playoff team in the East?
I don't think playoff team without Collins. It was great to see Jabari Parker playing quality minutes when he got an opportunity. He is a really good finisher when you get him the basketball on the move and his weight is down, and he's not going to necessarily present the physical force or impose his will like Collins can, defensively in particular and on the backboard, but he has been a guy that's gotten buckets in this league. But this is all about Trae Young. Because he has extended range and makes more shots from 30 feet than any player in the league, that's how you get LaMarcus Aldridge on skates the way he did. Because he knew that he could pull up at any point, and then all of a sudden, he drops off a dime for a dunk.
We saw Kyle Kuzma sort of turn into Kyle Kuzma again last night. We saw Trae Young come back and put on a Trae Young performance. But we saw a performance, Jalen Rose, that we've been waiting for years. It's been 2 years, and your guy, the guy that you love, Gordon Hayward, hasn't been himself until last night. Jalen Rose, 39, 7 and 8 from Gordon Hayward. Can they rely on this as they continue through the season?
They absolutely can. Covering this guy, along with his head coach, Brad Stevens, since he was at Butler, leaving on the back-to-back Final Fours, I always felt like he was slept on. Then he went to Utah. He got better, and then became an all-star in the Western Conference. And then you come to the East, you deal with a horrific injury. As I mentioned, it's going to take him a year or so to get back to himself. But something that really jumped out to me to let me know that his confidence level is back is that he was doing wrong foot layups and wrong foot dunks. And so now the confidence in a guy that dealt with injuries in his lower extremities, we always knew he could shoot the jump shot, but now he's driving to the basket with a level of ferocity that the Boston Celtics are going to need all season.
So Jalen, he was 16 for 16 on 2-point field goals. No one has done that since Wilt. My question for you is, if you go 16 for 16, how do you not go 16 for 17? Like, how do you not just jack up a bad shot? That's exactly what I would do. Wouldn't you do that?
That's the difference between me, you, and him. Because he wasn't doing bad heat checks. I agree with you. And I don't have to get the 16. I can get the 4.
I'll show him my left hand, whatever it takes.
One leg, exactly. I'm trying something.
Fade away behind my back, whatever. It is now time for Soft Move or Boss Move. So there's a Nike billboard up in New York City featuring Kawhi Irving. That's not news. But they put it right outside Madison Square Garden, Jalen. Right outside the Garden. Trolling the Knicks with a billboard, Soft Move or Boss Move.
Soft move. Because you can't have it both ways. Don't sell me on how much you love Brooklyn and how the Nets are on the come up and how they're the team of the city. But when it's time to sell product, you go into MSG. What do you think about that?
I mean, that's interesting because you know there will be a star, maybe RJ Barrett, maybe someone else who'll be wearing Nike sneakers, and they will change that exact spot. They'll change that exact billboard into a Knick, and no one will mention it except for Jalen Jacoby. Good point. I was going to go boss move, but you convinced me it's a soft move. Jalen Rose, there was some really good action in the NBA last night, and there were 2 dunks that stood out above the rest. Right now, I would like you to be a judge. I've seen you be a celebrity judge for dunk contest a million times. So the first one that we have is from the Heat's Derrick Jones. What do you see from Jones?
It always looks nastier coming from a lefty number 5 because I couldn't jump at all. So now when I see these guys flying through the air with the greatest of ease, he always looked like it's a left-hand jump man symbol the way he sticks out his legs.
It does. It looked like he was waiting for it. He was like up there just waiting for it to get to him. The second one is from someone who has put the league on notice. He's only played a handful of games in the NBA, but he has let everyone know he will dunk on you. That's PJ Washington of the Hornets.
He's a grown man, Jacoby. That's why I compared him to David West with 3-point range. He coming into the league not afraid to exert himself. But if I had to choose between the dunks, you know the first one wins easy.
I know. It's a lefty number 5. You're biased. It's a lefty number 5. You're not an objective judge when it comes to this stuff. I understand. It was probably the better dunk, let's be honest.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports, highlights, and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN Plus right now.